Welcome to day 1 session of PRINCE2 certification training, live virtual classroom hosted by Skillogic. Can everyone hear me? I see 8 participants online. Few joining from UK, 1 from US, Australia, and rest from India. Please confirm you have a chat box over there. You can just type it down there in your tool. Say that you can hear my voice, see my video, and also slide behind me. Alright. So I'll be your host for this entire session of PRINCE2. It's an 8 days program, 2 to 3 days, 2 to 3 hours per day. All right. Okay. Thank you for confirming. All right. Yes. So my name is Ashok. I'm an MBA graduate from IIM Ahmedabad. Did my another MBA from University of Amsterdam. Worked there in Netherlands for more than 8 years as a project manager. Handled all sizes of European projects. Everything I do in Europe, in Netherlands, is PRINCE2. I have about 8 years experience in handling PRINCE2, Netherlands projects and UK projects, also European Commission projects. So I've been into PRINCE2 thoroughly and also been a trainer for more than 5 years with Skillogic. Okay, so before moving further, I would like to know your introduction as well.
I would like to know your name, your professional experience, and you can reveal your company if it's okay, and your role as well. Do you have a formal project management experience? Have you been into projects? Have you been into PRINCE2 projects? And what you expect from this session? So I'll start with Raghav. Raghav, please. You can unmute the mic and speak out.
So I'm right now in US. I'm working for insurance company. It's a United Health Group, and before that I was working for HP. Yeah, I'm right now working as a test manager, and I am into application security. That means security scans, static scans, dynamic scans.
All right. Thank you all for the introduction. So let's go into a PRINCE2 qualification scheme. As you might already know, PRINCE2 has 2 levels, foundation and practitioner level. Foundation is supposed to be a basic certification, and it's a prerequisite for practitioner, which means that you need to successfully complete the foundation examination in order to qualify to take the practitioner exam. Foundation is a relatively easy exam. You have 75 questions, out of which 70 questions are real questions and 5 questions are trial questions, which means that they doesn't have a mark. Just they are there to confuse you. Sometimes they have multiple answers or no answers. So if you find a question too difficult, you could actually skip it. It could be one of those 5. Out of the 75, all the questions are objective. So you have A, B, C, D, and you need to choose one. And you are supposed to get 50% marks to pass the exam, which is, out of 75, you need to get 35 right answers. It's a closed book exam. You're not supposed to have any material or manuals with you, and it doesn't have any negative marking, which means that you can no negative marking. You can actually go and answer all the questions. Foundation exam is considered an easy exam. The practitioner is slightly on the tougher side. Practitioner exam has 80 questions. Sorry, foundation has 1 hour time. So it's 1 hour. Practitioner has 80 questions. 2.5 hours is the time limit. And all these 80 questions are scenario based questions. So you'll be given a scenario, and what's tested here is your knowledge of PRINCE2, which you can apply the concept of PRINCE2 apply to a particular project, or in this case a particular case. So the questions will be on application of PRINCE2 concepts. Right? There won't be any trial questions, and it's open book exam, which means you can take your PRINCE2 manual with you. Right? And 55% is the pass percentage required. So 44 marks is what you need from 80 questions, and no negative marking. Okay. This is also objective. You have A, B, C, D options, but it's not as simple as your foundation. It will be a different structure questions, but still it is objective questions. You'll get to know more about this when you do a mock test of foundation practitioner after our Prince2 training. That will be a last topic. We will do a mock test, practice, and you'll get to know the entire structure of the exam. And you don't have to worry about the exam as of now. You should focus on the learning Prince2 concepts, and clearing exam will be easy thing if you master the Prince2 concepts. This is your course agenda. We do it 7 days online training, 2 to 3 hours a day. We spend 2 to 3 hours a day based on your time zones. Skillogic has several trainings aligned with time zones with US, UK, Australia, and of course India. So you could choose a training which is falling in a comfortable timing at your time zone. We do a 7 days classroom training. If there is a requirement to stretch for a couple of days, we do that. The focus is on covering the syllabus in a quality way, right? So sometimes we do 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, and ultimately we cover the entire syllabus. If you have more questions, people who wants to know clear concepts, asking many questions, it will extend couple of days, 8th day and 9th day. That's how we do. So day 1 we cover the overview and business case. Day 2 we cover the themes, organization theme and quality theme. Day 3 we cover plans theme, risks theme, which is very important theme, my favorite theme. And we talk about change and progress in day 4. Progress is about how you monitor and control the project. In day 5 we talk about processes. We cover first 4 processes: starting up a project, directing a project, initiating a project, managing stage boundary in day 5. Day 6 we talk about controlling a stage, managing product delivery, and closing a project. These are the 7 processes. We have 7 themes and 7 processes in Prince2 syllabus. And on the last day we discuss about the mock test. We cover both foundation and practitioner mock test structure. And if you want to have a practitioner test later point of time when you take practitioner, that's also fine with me. We can agree on that on the 7th day and accordingly take it forward. All right, let's get started with module 1. Before starting this module, I would like to have a basic discussion about the project itself. Let's start with the fundamental question. What is a project? What is a project? I know you have been exposed to project, you have been involved in a couple of projects. So I need answers. So you can unmute and say, Sudha, for example, can you tell me what is a project?
What is the project? Project have objects delivered to customers, have start and end date.
All right, so we have an input from Sudha saying project has a start date and end date, and it has some objectives to deliver to the projects, to the customers, of course. All right, perfect. Anyone else? Raghav? Okay, thank you for the inputs. Well, I'll take it let's take one step back. So what's a business? You take any business. What is a business? Business is, doing some activities, adding value to the customer. Adding value to the customer. Let's take an example of a bank. Any bank. So what's the core business? They manage money. They manage. You have retail customers, wholesale customers. They'll manage your money. They will provide you loans. They will provide you checks. They have ATMs to draw the money, to facilitate withdrawal of the money easily. This is their core business. So providing this services on a day-to-day basis, we call it as operations. Operations, the regular work you do, right? You manage the money of your retail customers and wholesale customers. If you want to do something new, maybe a bank wants to launch a mobile application which facilitates its customers to check the balance, do some transfers in a much easier way, and development of this application with all the security and everything can be taken as a project for this business. Okay. In simple terms, business has broadly two sides. One is your operations, which are repetitive, you keep on doing, and which is a process oriented, and you basically deliver the value to the customer, handle the requests, all the stuff. All right. And the second side is you have a projects. In this example, you have taken a mobile application for a bank, right? You create this application. Application creation and the requirements comes from the business side. They give you requirements, how should be there, what are the features in that app. For example, customers can check the balance, they can do a quick transfer, they can request for a check, a new checkbook, whatever it is, and what should be, how user friendly it should be, the requirements. Based on that, you will be also given a budget and a timeline, let's say 6 months, and you accordingly deliver the project, do lots of activities in the project, and once the project is delivered, it will be deployed back into your operations, and the operations will take over and use the mobile app, new mobile app, to make the service much satisfactory and add more value to the end customer. All right. So I can even say in a simple terms that project, what you're doing here, basically you're introducing change into the business. Why you have to do the change? Well, if you don't do it, then you will be outdated, and over a period of time, you might lose your competitive edge and you might lose the business as well. Right. So we have to continuously update our business. Technological changes, business changes, business model changes, value proposition changes. We keep on doing the changes to make ourselves more relevant for the customers, and also increase our profit margin over a period of time, increase the customer satisfaction over a period of time. All right. So I can simply say projects are a means of introducing significant change. Well, if it's a small change, you can even take it as an operational task, assign it to one of the operational manager, he will get it done. Small changes. If it is a significant change, big change, it is structured as a project so that we can control the change, development and deployment, achieving the objectives in more better way. The success of the project, the success of the change will be much better rather than doing it as an ad hoc task. That's the whole purpose of your project, right? And there are some questions around this. There are some companies which are not very project focused. For example, they are just doing their own business for a long time. And if you know about there is a company called as Ola in India, which is a cab service provider. It's a taxi service integrator. So there's like a simple mobile app where you can book your cab or taxi, and it connects your drivers to your customers. All right. And yeah, we used to have this kind of service already in India before Ola came into picture. For example, you have Fast Track, which is one of the very popular service in India, across India, right? The Ola has literally taken over Fast Track in 6 months' time. They've taken the entire market share. They become the number one from 0 to number 1 in 6 to 8 months' time, just like that. because the fast track has a booking system which is like typically you have to call the call center over the phone and book the cab, and Ola has come up with a nice mobile application which is very user friendly. Don't even have to wait for the telecaller to answer you, and no waiting time. It's much more user friendly, and also they have provided lots of better prices when compared to the existing one, right? So all of a sudden fast track is almost disappeared. It's gone. What went wrong with fast track? Well, they did not foresee the risk. They did not foresee that a technology or a better user interface and better way of booking system will come, and they lose the market. They haven't thought about it, and they haven't did any projects or any effort to initiate a project to actually bring in new applications and new technology to run the business. All right. So if you're too much operation focused, you're not worried about the technology changes, you might become another fast track. So you'll just lose the market, you lose the business entirely. Right. That's the whole reason we keep on upgrading ourselves with new changes to align with the market trends. There is also another side. If you're too much project focused, for example, so sometimes you want to do a lot of changes. So what is bringing you money to the company, which is giving you bread and butter? Your operations. Operations is actually earning money right now, today. And projects are going to make you earn more money in the future, because you're developing something which will be in the operations, which will add more value to the customer, that will bring more business in the future, right? If you're more focused on future money, doing lots of projects, not really focused on customer service excellence, then your operations will tremble, right? Your operations will have a problem, and once the operation will have a problem, your current inflow, the cash flow, will be affected, which basically going to disturb your entire business. Then you have to run for the loans and all the stuff. So you should keep a right balance between your ops and the project. And that's the main agenda. That's a key objective, or the key decision-making thing for your top management, like CEO, CXO, CCO, whoever it is, CTO. These guys, top management, the major aspect of their work is to keep the balance between your operation excellence, providing the service and making money today, and also make sure that you do projects to keep your future business more profitable and also stay relevant to the market trends. Hope I given an idea of what is project and how the project actually fits into your overall business. With this background, let's go and see what PRINCE2 says about the project. PRINCE2 says a project is a temporary organization. It's a temporary organization, which basically means it has a start and end date. It's a fixed time that is created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products. When you say business products, we are talking about output of the project. We call output of the projects in PRINCE2 as products. Don't go into product service thinking, because when you say product, which is something like you buy an iPhone, it's a product. A service is like you have an internet service, it's a service. Internet service provider, your television, cable, all service provider, right? But don't go into that thinking. In PRINCE2, we generalize it. We'll say product and service is considered together as a product. It's a general term we use in PRINCE2. Okay, according to an agreed business case. What's the business case? We will talk in detail about the business case in one of the themes, which is after this session, after this module, a business case theme. For now, it's just a business justification tool. It's a ROI kind of thing. It's like, is it a valid project? We're going to put a lot of money and time and effort in delivering this project. The benefits we're going to get from this project, does it make more sense? It is more than the effort we are putting in. Is it a valid project? That is what has been documented in your business case document. So a project is a temporary organization which has a start and end date, is created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products, the outputs of the project which is used by the business according to your agreed business case. So in your example of your banking application, right? So we create a project which has a start and end date to create a bank application, bank mobile application. The output of the project is mobile application itself, right? And the business case is, if you have this mobile application, we will actually get more customers in the future, which might increase your project or your business by 30%. Something like this is your business case. Right? That's your business case. This is defined as the project. This is the project.
Prince2 says we have 6 aspects of the project to be managed to deliver a successful project. And they are time, cost, quality, scope, benefits, and risk.
Time, as you know, we are talking about the project timelines, start and end date, and also the entire schedule, which consists of start and end date of individual activities. And the aspect basically talks about sticking to the timelines, sticking to the deadlines, how you do that, and everything comes under timeline. Cost, in a similar lines, we are talking about budget. We have a fixed budget for the entire project, and also we have budget for individual tasks. And sticking to the budget without exceeding the budget is what we discuss in the cost, and how you do that stuff. When you say quality, we can equate it to requirements. Quality is not an abstract term, it's just a requirements. So quality deals with everything about requirements, from collecting the requirements and making sure that the requirements are being developed and delivered as per the initial agreement, and also test the end product that it is fitting to the initial requirement and delivering it. The entire quality is revolving around the requirements, from collecting, developing as per requirements, and testing and delivering as per requirements. Scope, as we know, it's a boundary of your project. When you say boundary, a piece of work which is inside the project or outside the project, right? For example, most of the people I see, you are from IT background. So if you take an IT project, and let's say banking project itself, right? They say deployment is out of scope. Most of the banks do that. So they don't want an external service provider or the development company to deploy this software which they developed into the banking environment. They do it by themselves. They have a team to do that, right? So deployment is out of scope. If they say deployment is out of scope, anything related to deployment, we are not worried about. We don't even ask questions about that. If they say deployment is in the scope, you have to deploy, run, and stabilize within the production environment, right? Then you're going to ask a lot of requirements related to deployment. So when you say a chunk of work is in the scope, then we go ahead and request for requirements, more detailed requirements, so that we can actually go ahead and deliver that chunk of work. There is a line between your scope and quality. Don't confuse between it. Some people say that high level requirements nothing but scope. Don't get confused. Scope is simply a boundary of the project. It's talking about whether a chunk of work or a module is inside your boundary, which is in the scope of the project, or it is not inside the project, out of scope of the project. If it is inside the scope of the project, then we go ahead and talk about requirements. Otherwise, we don't. All right. Benefits. Let's take the same example of bank application, right? So Bank of America, for example, they already have an application, just for example's sake. All right, they want to create a really nice mobile application for providing almost all the features they can do in the bank in a mobile application, right? So they get requirements and you develop the project. At the end, you have delivered a mobile application for both Apple, iOS, and Android. All right. And this output application itself is called as output. Just a software which can be deployed in your customers' mobile phones. After this, when your customer starts using this application, they feel happy because the banks are a bit easy now, because most of the requests are being handled through applications. So people don't have to visit banks. The business is getting better. We are able to handle more volume your sales and customer satisfaction is going up, it's a positive thing. Your customer satisfaction and also sales, which is like kind of interrelated, going up. The increase in sales and the customer satisfaction, we call it as outcome. Outcome is the result of the output. So I can literally write down that outcome is the result. Like when you deploy the output and in the business and it is used by the customers, and then you see the result of output. That's what we call it as outcome. And when you measure the outcome, let's say after 6 months or maybe 1 year, you compare the sales of last year with this year, and we see 30% increase in sales. Fantastic, right? This objective, like quantified value added to the business, 30% increase in sales is what we call it as benefit. All right. So output leads to outcome. When you measure the outcome, output results in outcome. When you measure the outcome with a number, in this case it's 30% increase in sales, we call it as benefits. We will talk about this in detail in coming sessions. We have a session, business case topic. The last topic of business case module will be our benefits discussion. And then you have risks, right? Most people know what is risk. In project management terminology, risk is a neutral word. We can have a positive risk, we can have a negative risk. A positive risk is called as opportunity, and negative risk is called as threat. But most often when you talk about risk, we are only talking about threat. Okay. There is an entire section on risks. We're going to talk about that in detail. But for now, we say risk is an uncertain event in the future, which when realized will affect the project. If it affects negatively, we call it as threat. If it affects positively, we call it as opportunity. There is a lots of funda around the risk, how you identify them, how you manage them. I personally feel that risk management is one of the very important value addition from project manager. As a project manager, apart from your regular coordination, following up, keeping things in track and stuff, communication, sending reports, the biggest value addition from a project manager is managing risk. Because when you manage risk better, the chances that you deliver the project successfully dramatically increases. So risk is one of the key aspects. And you need to remember these 6 aspects: time, cost, quality, scope, benefits, risk. Okay. Don't ask me a short key or short code to remember this, like I have TCQ and SBR, I don't know, I'll do something. I don't recommend that. No, please. As a project manager, you're going to breathe in and breathe out these 6 aspects. This is what we're going to do on your entire project. This is your breath, your life in your career. So don't ask a key or a shortcut to remember this. This is not to remember, but it has to be, it is in you have to digest that. And this is what you're going to breathe in and breathe out as a project manager. So something when you breathe and breathe out, nobody will ask for a shortcode or shortcut to remember that. You have to remember this. All right. Okay.